live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Strawn.
Okay, let's see. After the devastating events of Avengers Infinity War 2018, the universe is in ruins with the help of remaining allies. The Avengers assemble once more in order to undo Thanos, whatever his name is, potato, actions and restore order to the universe. Should I read it a little bit more exciting?
Wow, I was going to say, do that again.
Okay.
No. After the devastating events of the Avengers
Infinity War
2018, the universe is in ruins. With the help of the remaining allies, the Avengers assemble once more in order to undo Thanos.
I think it's Thanos.
Thanos.
If you're English, Thanos.
Actions and restore order to the universe.
Okay. It really didn't matter.
Better.
In fact, it was kind of pointless for us to read that.
It did matter, and you know why?
Why?
Because this one was really, really good.
Because the whole world knows what this is about, and I didn't really... It was useless for us to read it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go with you on that. But
do you remember the last time we did an Avengers movie?
Yes.
And I said, hey, I think it might have something to do with time travel. And you looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are crazy. But
I'm not trying to say.
That was just my comment on you. It had absolutely nothing to do with what you were saying. Absolutely nothing.
I think this was great, but I still think it was too long. And
I thought it was too long, and evidently my bladder and my rectum also had a certain problem with it. Both of those things. It was like 3 hours at city. I thought it was too long. Let me set that aside.
Well, you've been spoiled being a first AD on a set. You can just piss anytime you feel like it. Anyway.
Let me set bodily function aside.
Yes.
And say how much I really enjoyed.
I enjoyed this too.
This one.
Yeah.
And
there was one moment though. One moment where the was about to hit the fan when they were getting into the big thing that was going to happen with the things. Everybody was there. Right. I was like, not another one of these big scenes where
I have to say.
But I actually take it back because I enjoyed the hell out of it and I could follow the action. I could, like the last one, I couldn't follow the action all the time.
The last one, the action.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think even in this one, that the weakest point is these interminable battle scenes.
Yes.
I mean, really, guys.
That's where I was like,
why did it have to go on that long?
Just when they were building up to it, I'm like, oh, great. I mean, I was thinking of Attack of the Clones. I'm like, oh, great, here we go.
Yeah, well...
But it actually, I did enjoy it.
It did look better.
Yeah, it looked a lot better.
This film, from one end to the other, looked better. I thought that the last one...
They must have listened to our podcast last time.
They must, because
they took notes.
Because the last time... And we also noticed this in the credits at the end. There were a lot more carpenters involved. There were a lot more set dressers involved. There were a lot more plasters. I mean, it was obvious that there was a lot more actual set pieces used in this, and the digital was used more of a support unit for it, and
a lot of stunt doubles too.
Yeah, a lot of stunt doubles and
stand-ins, stunt doubles.
Yeah, and the stunts were The stunts were amazing and all the rest of that, but what I have to say though is the setup of everything, was complex and yet centralized. I mean, it didn't just go off in all these weird.
There's a million characters too. They focused on a core group.
They focused on the core group.
It was easy to follow,
and it was kind of easy to understand what was going on. And there was a lot more character development, whereas in the one before, it was just a big scattered mess as far as I was concerned.
It was like the other movie was a kind of a crappy setup for this movie.
Right. But they just didn't do it well. They just didn't do it well. And this one, they landed it perfectly.
Yeah.
The look was really good. And I have to say, overall, the combination of effects, the practical application of effects, along with the CGI, gave it such a more visceral feel than the last one. Yep. And even I have to say Thanos in this one looked better in his.
Still had a clam chin, but
Yeah, well, it's what
you can't fault somebody for having a clam chin.
Well, the problem is, it's what he was digitally born with.
Right, that's true. Yeah, he had to work with it.
But at the same time, the depth of his character and the complexity and the thing is,
Let's explain more.
It had a nice little time loop in it, a couple of nice little time loops in it within the time loops that were just really storytellers in and of themselves.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of mini stories within the story.
Right.
Character development.
And it actually looked like you were in some of these places as opposed to being,
I feel like I was watching the old movies in some Actually, I was. But anyway. Well, I don't want to ruin anything.
I kept telling you to stop going to the
I was having flashbacks.
To the Romance Next Door.
I kept having flashbacks. Oh, I think I've seen this one.
Yeah, no.
We just saw 12 movies, basically.
We did. Yeah, it was it is actually... I'm not a fan. I am really not a fan of the Avengers series in general. I think that this, by far, is the best of them, and is best of. It is the best of anything that I can
Avengers,
see that has 14,000 plots.
Yes. Chris Evans has totally from the first Captain America to this one.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how much he's just grown, I guess?
Oh yeah, no.
As an actor, basically.
Oh, as an actor, I mean
but also as in stature too.
Yeah, but he emotes. I mean,
he's a lot better than he was.
Yeah, the depth of his of his character and how he plays it was incredibly. And I thought the same. I thought the same with Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, I thought that he was.
Oh, he was pretty good in this one. You missed one of your bathroom breaks.
Right.
You missed a scene where he was. It was really weird. He was underweight. He was scratching his nose. He was having this crazy it was almost like he was channeling his old self from the 80s.
Right. Oh yeah. Right.
The drugs.
Yeah.
And he was acting like he was an addict, and they were trying to talk him down. But yeah, and he did something. Dramatic. He did something dramatic. He went, and he did that.
Yeah.
And he went, oh. And then that's why he was, doing the other thing. And the people were around going, uh-oh.
Did I ever tell you that he...
Was that vague enough?
That was vague enough, yes.
Okay, good.
That his father, Robert Downey.
Yeah.
Robert Downey was a director. And he did a film called Greaser's Palace that my sister worked on.
Really?
And my sister worked on it, and... it was late 70s, and it was a Coke fest.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was a notorious Coke fest. It was virtually the whole thing completely veered off of the script and came down to people sitting in one location after the other, getting incredibly coked up, and then going to another location
I
to
think
finish.
You told me this, briefly.
You
were talking about people who were sitting around just kind of doing nothing.
Right, just doing nothing, watching the director and the 3 or 4 major producers and so forth just get coked up, go out of their minds, and try and decide what they were going to do next at 3 and 4 in the morning, and while the crew just sat around, got really screwed up and just laughed and it was like the classic, everybody screwed up kind of Hollywood tale. And it's a film called Greaser's Palace, and I have no idea what it's about.
Wow.
I've never gone.
Who's in it?
I don't know. Actors, I suppose. Actors.
Oh.
Greaser's Palace, right there. 72.
Wow.
Not Grease, Greaser's Palace.
Yeah, Greaser's Palace.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was based on,
the picture is priceless on IMDb.
The parable of the life of Christ, based on Christ's coke fiend period.
I don't recognize any of the names. Of course, this is before my time, obviously.
Yeah, these people are. Yeah. Anyway.
Interesting though.
It was one of the first things that my.
Oh, I know that name.
Tony Basil.
I don't know why I know that name. Huh.
Anyway, so.
Interesting.
For what it's worth.
Yeah, there you go. And watch it. They go through a massive constipation. And then that's actually what it says. And
through a massive constipation and a New Mexican setting. Wow, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so anyway, back to the film.
Back to Avengers Endgame.
I have to say, I totally recommend it. It's never, these huge Marvel films are never going to be my favorites.
Well, you have to have they actually didn't do, they must have listened to our podcast because they didn't do a lot of the super jumps either.
Yeah, that's right.
So they must.
There was very little.
Kurt Thomas says no super jumps. Let's tone it down. Come on, guys, tone it down.
And they didn't do any. Yeah,
it's like we need more practical effects, guys. Mix that in.
That's right.
We need a better story.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you can thank us for this being better than the first one.
So which one of the 15 people that actually listen to our podcast, let them know.
I want to know. They should call us.
Yeah, they should.
Give us some credit.
You know what? Come on, get on it.
Yeah,
people.
So I did like how they so the battles. I could, not really a spoiler to say this, but when the battle was about to happen, they presented people. Like. They kind of came out like,
right. Yeah, that's
right. But it's like, I guess they had to do
that. But they didn't do the hero landing. You're right. No, they didn't.
It was more of a presenting themselves.
Because really, I have to say the ultimate of that was that one in Black Panther.
Yes.
That one in Black Panther, the big battle scene of Black Panther, there was no end of people that were doing the superhero.
Was that the
landing.
climax of that move? Are we going to see it not happen anymore?
God, I wish. Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be great. They're like, it's kind of done now. It's like, let's move on.
It's been played. It's played out. But maybe
Marvel's just going to give up and they're going to start making like nice family movies about dogs.
And so that sounded so Midwestern.
It did.
Yeah.
I was channeling my Midwestern.
Would it be a horrible
family.
Spoiler if I told people that there is
I was going to tell people.
Yeah, oh God, you're an evil human being.
Say you can't believe what it was. It was amazing.
See, I can't. So you're going to be able to tell that.
I'm gonna have some fun with some
people
bleeping, probably.
Are going to work.
Can I tell people that bleep, 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 bleep?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to tell them bleep, bleep,
bleep. Whatever you do, don't bleep, bleep, bleep. The sheriff is a ding, dong, ding. I said the sheriff is a ding, dong, ding.
That's a good reference.
Yeah, there you go. See if anybody gets the out of that one.
I'm going to bleep that, and then we'll see if anybody can answer that.
See anybody can answer that. Yeah,
it's pretty obvious.
Back in.
That's a classic. I hope somebody never remakes that movie. That's one that should never be touched.
Let's hope not. Yeah. Oh man.
Maybe in space. That would be cool.
Somebody. I saw. One of those typical. Pick one. Pick your favorite. Mel Brooks film, and the only two that they listed were the space one, Spaceballs,
yeah,
and Men in Tights.
Oh my God!
Like, oh well, that's a really tough choice. Let me see, Spaceballs or Men in Tights? Yeah, Young Frankenstein. Or Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, that's
all
ridiculous.
I wrote.
The producers.
What is it with the internet and having people make stupid choices? Like they give you four. What was it, like 4 things, and one of them has to go?
Yeah.
Why is that? Like McDonald's, Wendy's, White Castle, or Taco Bell. Which one has to go? You know what? We should do that.
We should.
Yeah, we should. Just list, for the Avengers. Oh, you know what we could pick? The Avengers 1, the Avengers 2, or the Avengers 3.
Yeah.
Which one of them has to go?
I don't know.
Yeah,
or which Captain America movie was pointless?
Oh, what was more pointless than the other?
You could do that with individual character movies.
Right. Yeah.
Like which?
So you might have gotten the feeling that I'm not a big fan of the Marvel.
I like the individual stuff. Like I did like the Captain Marvel.
I like I liked Thor.
Yeah, Thor was great.
I mean,
Thor
the
was
thing
good.
is, you really have to take them on case by case.
I do have a crush on Valkyrie, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Well, no, that was amazing.
She can sweep
Thor
me up
was
on a
amazing.
horse.
But then, at the same time, you had like the second Avengers film, which sucked, and the one after that, which sucked, right? So you have to say.
I think we gave the last one pretty decent rating, though. I mean,
Did we?
not like terrible. We were kind of average with it, I think.
I don't know. I was farting.
remember.
I was farting in its general direction, as far as I could tell. I just never really liked it. So anyway, not my thing, and yet, I had a good time. I could put it at a 3.8.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think? I mean, that's big for me for a Marvel film. I mean, for the most part, I'm not a huge fan. But
We're kind of boring because I'm kind of right. I'm right. around,
don't do it. Don't.
I am around a 4, but I'm not a 4.
So you're 3.9. You're quibbling with me.
I'm probably 3.8 actually. I probably agree with you.
Okay.
No, because it wasn't like I would give other movies like I think I like Captain Marvel more than this.
Oh, okay. Now I can't.
So I would rate that higher than this.
Captain Marvel,
which I probably gave that a lot lower rating because you know how our rating system is so perfect.
Well, yeah.
We need that spreadsheet.
We need that spreadsheet, because if we could get that spreadsheet, I would know everything that I'd done before, and I would be able to put them.
Well, I could pull it out, and I can say, "Hey, here's what I give this one. This one I give this one."
What we could do if we had the spreadsheet?
I'm going to do this at some
We
point.
could actually do it like a bell curve, and we could put things on the bell curve, and then I could take this part of the bell curve out, and I could say, "Look, we actually agree with ourselves inside of the bell curve."
Wow. Well, if I saw this on a different day, I'd probably rate it differently. If I had to,
Look, if I saw this before or after a good, I would rate it differently.
if I watched this and I didn't eat anything for 2 days, I'd probably feel differently about it.
Exactly. See what I'm saying?
In fact, they should have done that.
Argument with her.
Back in the day,
with my wife?
why didn't Siskel and Ebert do that? They watched the same movie
three times in a row,
3 weeks in a row, and
Right.
then at different situations.
Exactly.
Like have somebody scream at him as they're walking in one day, and the next day have them give them cake and pie when they're coming in, and then I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, it's called bribes.
Yeah.
It's called bribery. Yes.
I miss those guys. I used to enjoy that show where they, especially when they quibble with each other. They'd fight with each other.
I loved that show. And the thing that I really find sad is how it didn't end as much as it just kind of died over a long period of time.
Well, one of them literally died.
Yeah, and
I mean, when they tried to bring Roper in.
It was. It was kind of like it rotted.
Right.
It rotted as we were listening to it and watching it. Things that rot over a long time as you're watching them.
And then I felt bad for Roper because he's a really bright guy, and I think he got kind of a short end of the stick coming into.
Well,
But anyway.
Yeah.
No, but I miss those guys quibbling with Dave.
No, I do.
There's no show like that anymore. Now you just have these young
I'm
these
curious,
young kids these days.
I'm curious as to whether you know that somewhere out there on the internet is a comparable show that could possibly be as good, but it's a fractured market. I mean, at that time, that was the market. I mean, it was Siskel and Ebert, and they were very good. I think that the days of singular things like that, especially comparison things, are gone.
Well, they also came at it from a different angle than I see anybody do it nowadays. They were coming at it from like a journalistic approach, kind of.
Right.
And with that kind of educational approach to it, I guess.
Well, I think that one of them, I mean, I always thought that Siskel was a little bit...
of course, Valley of the Dolls wasn't brilliant, but...
Yeah.
Anyway.
I always thought that Siskel was the analytic.
Yeah.
And that Ebert was
more emotional. Totally. And I think I kind of I tend to be on Ebert's side a lot. Like, as far as
exactly. And the funny thing about it though is Ebert was doing something very difficult because he was analytically talking about
right.
He was
about his emotions.
He was analyzing emotions.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that Siskel had as much of a challenge, and Siskel really, obviously, I've seen several stories and read articles about the two of them, and Ebert was always not as much into the show as Siskel was, and Ebert could kind of take or leave it, but Siskel knew deep down inside that he was the heart of the show,
right?
And at the same time, so he was the one that was actually writing that line up there, because always if you're trying to follow your heart and you're analyzing it so you can talk about it to other people without sounding, like a new age revisionist putz,
right?
Without looking like on The Simpsons, who's Smithers' boss? Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns.
Mr.
Yeah.
Burns. There's the famous Mr. Burns when he's infected with uranium. He's peace and love and peace and love, right?
Yeah.
without being a Mr. Burns,
right?
To be able to actually explain the heart is writing the hard line, and I think the fascination of that show, the heart of the show, was obviously Ebert.
Yeah, totally. Well, there's sometimes where he really loved a movie, and you can tell because of the way he gushed about it.
Yeah, right.
But you kind of left the analytical a bit alone.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just say, this is amazing. You got to see this movie.
You see, and I'm going to come back to this again. You're right, and I'm the same way. I can't really explain the parts that I really liked about this, because there were parts that I liked about it that were actually good enough so that that little analytical part of my brain turns off. And the thing is I've
just enjoy it.
I've honed that analytical brain.
Well, for me, I feel like I can explain things better. Like, I can't compare it to something. If I can compare it to something, I probably make more sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
You see, and I get back into this is since the earliest 80s, I've had to look at film in an analytical sense, and by my nature of being kind of like liking science but having heart, tried to analyze the look of things and analyze, I don't analyze acting as much as I do actually the look and the pacing and the directing and so forth. But to me, still the best films are when I stop stop analyzing. Yep. There were a couple of periods in this where I actually did just watch and go, oh wow, that's just really cool. So
this is why Flash Gordon's such a great movie, because if you analyzed it,
boy, that is such a good point. It's like Thor was probably one of the one of the films that I analyzed.
Well, there are parts that I analyzed, like you. I analyzed some of the effects.
Yeah,
that's where I lost. It wasn't that great. But then when I just got lost in you
just get lost in the film, and you're like, oh, that's really cool.
This is fun, actually.
Yeah. But it's odd the things that have to line up for that, And I don't think that they're that all of us have those things in common. Is what turns your brain off and seizes your heart.
Right.
Wow.
That got deep.
Did you? Wow. Ugh.
What show is this?
Oh, I can't believe it. It's like I ripped my own heart out. And then played with it on the desk.
Have a heart.
I have a heart. Just a little slice right here. Well, this has all gone awry, hasn't it?
I do want to mention one more thing about Avengers Endgame. It did have the perfect amount of humor just sprinkled through it. Like,
yeah, it did.
It wasn't overdone. It wasn't underdone. It was just perfect.
Which is hard to find. Kind of the humor in the situation.
Right.
It had a lot of heartstrings that it pulled, which basically deep down inside, I'm looking for the heartfelt comedy.
Right.
I mean, really, even in horror films.
This is a family reunion. That's really what it is.
Is it? Is that what it is?
I guess so. I mean, it's following up all those prequels.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Now it makes sense why they're pounding all those prequels out. Like, let's see this one. You know what? If we keep banging at this sucker, eventually we're going to make a good one. Yeah, we'll make some money, hopefully. Good
well,
gosh.
you know what they say, right? $1 billion here and $1 billion there, and after a while, it actually starts to, count up. It starts to amount to something.
I think the guys at Marvel were like saying, "Oh, Stan Lee died. If this doesn't go well, we're closing our doors." I was looking on AMC because as I was booking this flight, and I saw that they were doing a 22-hour marathon of Marvel movies in only limited theaters, obviously.
Well, obviously, I mean, we walked in there, and how many of the theaters? It's a 12, and I think that at least eight or nine of them were showing the same film.
Yeah,
30-minute
intervals.
The parking lot was just.
And this was just like a fan night or whatever they called it. But anyway.
Yeah. Bathrooms are rough today, though.
They're always rough.
Yeah, but today, I mean.
Not the side bathrooms.
Side bathrooms are not that bad, but boy, that main bathroom is rough. That takes some hairy balls just to walk in there and relieve your hairy balls.
It's like you're walking on that planet. I can't remember what the name of the planet was. It starts with an M. Mogul or whatever.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, it's like little animals crawling out, and it's the worst.
That's like the bathroom.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's like flames pop up over here, like something farts over in the corner, and there's nothing in the corner.
Right.
Nothing. just the fart itself.
It's just tiles.
It's you ever seen a fart? It's just. Oh, it's awful.
I think we come to the end of this one.
I think we have. I think just right off the cliff, you frickin' lemming.
Well, you have to sacrifice something you love sometimes. Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.